Welcome to Comsverse. This session is called Using the Microsoft Teams Framework as a Business Strategy Enabler and will be presented to you by James Howard. Take it away, James.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our session on Microsoft Teams as a business strategy enabler. I'm James Haworth. I'm really excited to be talking about this at such a great conference. Really great job what the Comsverse team have pulled together during these days. So looking forward to this session. Some of the great things here, and I just want to call them out, with such a wide array of sponsors in the community and industry speakers, this conference really has got something for everyone. The sessions I've watched so far have been great, and I really do encourage you to immerse yourself in all the content in this conference and get as much from the event as possible. There's some great sponsors, partners, friends here, and we're all here for the same goal as a community to innovate and to do things together. All of us, we will all learn and develop. So with that in mind, let's get on to the session and Microsoft Teams as a business strategy enabler. So as I said, I'm James Haworth. I'm from FITS. FITS as a company was born from the idea of providing a new kind of service, a service that is a true partnership of strategy and transformation. It enables businesses to achieve a secure digital enabled workforce. For us, it's all about people, delivering, empowering and inspiring and enabling people with new capabilities to thrive and grow in their work. I'm going to touch a few subjects later in that, but inclusivity being a key part. When we talk about people, we're talking about everyone. My background personally, I come from a strategy consulting background, predominantly in security, but working with some of the world's largest organizations to help define their future technology strategy and roadmap, and that's been at board level of FTSE 100 global organizations, all the way down to working with entrepreneurs, investors and startups to define their roadmap from the very, very start. So what is business strategy and how does this all fit? For me, technology, everything that we do should have a strategy and a roadmap. It's a journey, and it's a journey that for a lot of people, I think the best way of describing it is a journey that you will never reach the destination. You'll never reach the end. One of the great pictures and analogies of this is imagine a cruise ship and a cruise ship captain without a map. He doesn't have the roadmap, he doesn't have a map, just meandering the world's oceans, but with no plan or guide to get to the next port of call. May be great if you're enabled in the technology, a cruise that goes on forever, but without that plan, there's no next port of call, there's no destination, you don't know where you're going, you get lost. So let's discuss what business strategy is and talk about how this aligns with technology strategy. So business strategy. So business strategy describes a series of decisions that are made by a management of the organization of a company in order to obtain or maintain a competitive advantage over a period of time. It should show the overall direction of the company. It should be future focused and contain long-term sustainable goals. The business strategy really is defining what your competitive edge is. What's your advantage? Looking at the marketplace, understanding your customer needs, how you're going to meet those and how you're going to meet them better than the competition, how you are going to enable your people to be more and achieve more. And the business strategy is very, very high level. You have corporate strategy, you have business strategy. Corporate strategy is predominantly the same. Shareholder value is the large part of corporate strategy. Business strategy then describes the decisions of how you're going to achieve that as a business. And then that transcribes down into technology strategy and digital strategy as you go down. So technology strategy really is quite simple for me. It is, do we have the right technology for our business to succeed and meet its goals? It's as simple as that. The technology strategy doesn't need to be much further. But one of the important things that I think, and we see more and more, is this disconnect between business strategy and technology strategy. And it focuses in on how these fit together and how they work together. The technology strategy of a business should empower and enable the business to achieve its goals, should empower the business and the people within that business to achieve their goals and to drive that forward. They should go hand in hand. quite often you'll see that jigsaw puzzle. You've got the business strategy, and then you've got that team, that area of the business, that technology strategy that just doesn't quite fit. You can't complete the puzzle. You can't complete that story. The gaps that causes introduce strategies, delay, impairs the business from actually executing on its strategy and its plan. And this is a very common occurrence that we see globally, where technology is going with the when, the how, and the what, and they're not asking the important question of why. And Teams is one of those particular areas that people want to deploy it, people want to use it, but you need to ask the question why before you answer how and what. One of the great stories, although I hope nobody here was caught up in it, the Airbus project, the Airbus A380 project, is a classic example of where strategy between organisations and part of the organisation is not aligned. So the Airbus A380 Super Jumbo aircraft was developed, and it was developed across Europe and across a variety of countries. And they didn't actually align the technology strategies of all the operating businesses to support that development. So they actually ended up using different platforms for designing the aircraft, which meant when they brought the airframe and the wiring harnesses for that aircraft together, the wires were a few centimeters too short. That in itself, by not aligning those strategies and those gaps that's produced, caused a multi-billion-dollar euro delay and a fine and cost of the business, and a delay to delivering that aircraft into service, as they had to go back and effectively recreate all the wiring harnesses and fit them to the aircraft, all because they didn't align the technology strategy of the businesses to the actual strategy of Airbus in developing that aircraft. Expensive, but yet very simple to fix. So as I said, the key thing for me is starting with why. Simon Sinek has written a great book on how great leaders inspire everyone to take action, and it is entitled Start With Why, and I'd encourage you to read that. As technology leaders, we should be asking the question, why? Why are we using this technology? Why are we deploying this? Why are we doing that? Why are we enabling this? And only once you've asked the question, why do you do what you do? What's the purpose? Can you then answer the questions, okay, that's why we do it. This is now how we're going to do it. This is what we're going to do. And then you can go into the when we're going to do it. And the key area of technology for me is it should enable the business strategy. And the business is the people. It's the people within their business. You should enable them to achieve their goals. Business and technology strategy has been changing. It's changing rapidly at the moment as well, with the new world situation of how to survive and thrive in a pandemic world, and how to deliver rapid, innovative and agile change. And the key thing for all of that is the people. The modern workplace and the industry and the world is different now. And it's the first time ever that we actually now have 5 generations working together within a business. And those generations, each one of them have grown up and come through in a variety of different landscapes, you know, from wars, digital revolution, and we even talk about the iPhone generation, ultimately people who are on their phone. And now, even today, when we look at Gen Z, it's massively changed, it's moving forward. We look at the world and the pictures, you know, going from the black and white traditionalist world that they grew up in through world wars and scenarios and situations, through the baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and then Gen Z. There's a massive change in the workforce and the people that are there, and the business and technology strategy need to align to support all of these workers to work productively and effectively, and how they bring that together. The different generations actually have different attitudes to work. They have different attitudes to their work ethic, the technology that they want to use, how they prefer to work in work environments, and how work interrupts with their family and personal life. It's a huge change, and these generational attributes actually change and define how people will embrace technology and how they want to use it, and how you can bring them together as an organization to use it. It's not easy, but when we are looking at technology strategy, we need to make sure we're including everybody. Another fact that hits home, and I hope it hits home to everybody here, is there are 1 billion, over 1 billion people in the world with disabilities. Those disabilities may be permanent, they may be temporary, they may even just be situational from where they are. They may be visible or invisible. A key point, 1 in 7 people will have a disability. When you think about your organizations and the teams and the people that you are working in, 1 in 7 people within your organizations like to have a disability. Do you know that? Are you supporting them in that way? Are you creating technology and a technology strategy that is inclusive? As I said, some of the disabilities are invisible. 70% actually of disabilities are invisible. You will not necessarily see that disability. It may not be apparent to you, but they are suffering it. We take, the likes of being colorblind, ADHD, mental health challenges. It may just be that somebody is unwell, and whilst they're unwell, they may have laryngitis and they are struggling to engage and talk with people. That, for example, laryngitis is a temporary disability. It will go away, but it is a disability that is stopping them from being able to engage in a workforce and with the technology platforms that you have. So it's important that we take all of that into account. One size does not fit all. So when we talk about these disabilities and where they are and how they align to technology and the platforms that you use and you support and you build and innovate on as a business, we need to take these into account in line with the technology strategy. Our job is to support, empower, and enable the business to achieve its goals, and the technology platform should do that. To talk about some of the disabilities, obviously some of them you will see. There are, the physical disabilities that you would see. So, for example, if somebody only has one arm, how do they engage with technology? They may have one arm, whether that's a permanent disability or a temporary one. They may have broken an arm, and we need to cater for that and allow them to work. Situational in that scenario, they're a new parent. They've only got one arm because actually as a new parent, they are holding their child in the other arm. All of these things we need to think about. And some of the situational dependencies, disabilities are significant and have a major impact on how we can enable people to work. Another interesting area is around globalization. So globalization has brought everyone closer together, but still language remains that barrier. We talk about pre-pandemic, effectively, worldwide tourism is up by 100% in the last 20 years. 3.7 million people are studying in a foreign country. That increases 12% every year. And if we look at university admission statistics in the UK for this September, October, and this year, it's gone up 14%, even during effectively this pandemic crisis. Immigration is at an all-time high in the developed world. And amongst all of these things, businesses are now operating globally. The ability to operate globally and to engage globally is key to enabling business success. Amongst all of this, quite importantly for us, English proficiency is not improving across those in many countries. It's actually declining in several of them. So how do you now seamlessly bring teams, cross borders, languages, disabilities, people together? The teams are there. Businesses want to use them as we talk about skill shortages and bringing people together. How do we integrate them? How do we operate them? How do we bring that all together? And it kind of leads on to exactly why we're here. Why is Microsoft Teams a business strategy enabler? The Microsoft Teams platform is a young platform. It was developed by Microsoft to bring together to a user all the various collaboration and communication tools. It started off as an application with the latest announcements from Microsoft Build and where the Teams platform is going, the integration, the connectors to all of those great applications, business and enterprise applications that you have, and the introduction of the Power Platform and such a tight coupling of integration between Teams and the Power Platform, Teams has now become a platform. It's not just an application you use, it's a platform to innovate on, it's a platform to collaborate, it's a platform to communicate. And more importantly, it's a platform to bring people together. We talk about the modern workplace, we talk about enterprise architecture, we talk about where the world is going. The last 10 years, a lot of the work has been around how do we integrate data systems? How do we integrate data systems and platforms together? It's not necessarily looked at the user and how they work and how they engage those platforms, but how can we integrate our SAP system with IoT devices? How do we get the best out of all these pieces? How do we seamlessly work across all of our partners, suppliers, and a global supply chain? Now we are looking at, and in the last 3 years, I would say, we've been looking at actually what is the modern workplace and how do we surface that? We've done all the heavy lifting of how to get this data and big data. We're now looking at the modern workplace. There are hundreds of definitions of the modern workplace out there. We're going to go with this one. It's one that we believe in, it fits and we understand. But for a workplace to be modern, it must provide modern tools. It must leverage data and have a culture of collaboration and embrace mobility. A culture of collaboration and embrace mobility. And much like technology strategy, it's never going to meet its destination. It must be aligned for the purpose of dramatically improving the throughput of innovation, not just iteratively improving it, what is already there. It must be a platform that enables and empowers people to innovate. If we develop a modern workspace and that platform and the ability to empower and enable people within it, it will grow, it will sustain, and the business will succeed. The modern workspace brings together, and as technology leaders, really we can talk about technology and try and drive everything to be about technology and how to bring that piece forward. But actually, a modern workspace is about multiple things. A modern workspace is about people. It's about a place, and that place could be mobile, could be anywhere that the people are. It's about technology to enable it, and it's about process. So when we talk about it, it's very easy for us to put technology at the center, but we need to ask the question, why? What is the modern workspace there? Why are we delivering it? And we're delivering a modern workspace to enable people to do their job, to excel, to be them, and to deliver the business growth and strategy. When we talk about people, we need to think about the skills and capabilities of the workforce. We talk about place, we could be talking about where they are. So we used to talk about it being an office. Work and a modern workspace is not where you go, it's something you do. So where you talk about place, that could be anywhere, but we need to take into account furniture, noise levels, connectivity, and understanding global connectivity challenges. Some of these things which have very much been put under the microscope during this recent pandemic. The process, how do we enable people and onboard them to a modern workspace? How do we empower them and enable them to use the tools in a way that works for them, taking into account the generational diversity, taking into account disabilities, taking into account language and collaboration, taking into account people's development and their ability and skills on their career ladder? How do we embrace all of those things forward? And lastly, technology. How do we make technology a consumable for them? How do we bring that forward? How do we protect our data? How do we ensure that people are connected? And the real answer to all of these things is, and why Microsoft Teams really enables the business strategy in line with the technology strategy, is it's about people. The modern workplace and technology is about people. Delivering a business strategy is about delivering and enable your people and your business to achieve what it needs to achieve. We talk about enterprise integration platforms of the past, of integrating data and systems together. Microsoft Teams is the integration platform for people. It brings people together from across a business with one platform, one core, one platform to work, provides persistent and seamless conversation. You're bringing people together, the ability to join a conversation after the conversation has started and be included in the old jokes, the history of that conversation is key. You're giving people the context and you're interacting with them. The Microsoft Teams platform is accessible and available to all generations on the platforms and tools and systems that they want to use, whether that is on their mobile, whether that's on a laptop, whether it is in a meeting room. It's accessible and available to all generations to engage with. And it's accessible on all platforms. So Microsoft Teams as a platform is available on mobile, is available on tablet, is available on Windows, is available on Mac. It's available on all of these platforms and the web, to enable people to work in the way that works for them. And that may be a permanent workspace, it may be a temporary workspace, it may be situational, but it's about people. And it's not just about IT people, which is another common mistake. We deploy technology because it's what IT want. It's about all the people. The next thing about Microsoft Teams is it's personal. We talk about disabilities and we talk about how people engage and operate within the platform. We're going to show, there's a video at the end that I want to share with you from our friends at Accenture regarding inclusivity and how we bring that together. But the Teams platform is personal. It gives people the control of their collaboration environment, how they want to operate, how they want to engage. They have the choice to enable or disable video. They have the choice to silence notifications for focus. They also have the ability to use translation, captioning, and accessibility tools in their space. The Teams platform includes translation. It includes captioning services. It includes the immersive reader for conversations and communications to allow people with disabilities such as dyslexia to be able to operate, integrate, and communicate efficiently and effectively with people. But it's the user's choice. It's personal to them. You don't need to know that they are doing it, but the platform that Teams provides enables them to do it. One of the interesting things actually is around notifications for me, and how to enable people and how to include people in those conversations, and the conversation of diversity and inclusion in that area is something I'd encourage you all to join the conversation on. But for a user who, for example, suffers from let's take ADHD, for example, one of the key things for them is how to focus and get things done. They may be very drawn to notifications when they pop up and struggle to keep focus with what they're trying to achieve. The ability within Teams to enable your business to silence notifications and pick them up once they've completed their work through their persistence, the ability for users to decide and choose how to use that within the governance framework is key. You are giving the power to the people to be and achieve who they are for the business. Steve Jobs once famously said, I think, I don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. I hire smart people so they can tell me what to do. And this personal ability within Teams to allow your users to use it in a way that works for them is key, because it brings out the best of them. Lastly, on this Teams challenge, why Teams is agile. As I said, it became an application. It's now a platform. The ability to add teams, channels, tabs, collaborate with people, whether that's via video, audio, text, sharing, collaborating seamlessly on documents. Teams brings all of that, and that is the lifeblood of a business. But it's agile. You can spin that up. You can enable it very, very quickly. It's integration with connectors to business platforms and systems using industry standards. So it's not a closed platform. It's not a closed system. It uses industry standard integration mechanisms and connectors that are available and growing rapidly to allow you to integrate the Teams platform with your business platforms and, more importantly, with your users. It's agile that you can effectively turn on a connection to an existing system with a few clicks of your mouse. It's integration with the Power Platform. So the Power Platform really is, we talk about Power Apps, Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents now. And you talk about where that's all going and what that's provided in such a short period of time, and the transformation, the opportunities that brings. Microsoft announced an even closer integration of that at the Microsoft Build conference recently. But its integration with those platforms allows the platform to be agile, allows you to rapidly develop off of it in a way, again, that integrates with users. And lastly, mobility platforms are already provided. You can engage and use Teams seamlessly. Microsoft Teams takes care of the responsive nature. It takes care of the platforms. It takes care, including the security wrap of data and access that you provide within a team. It's all within the platform and capability, whether you are running that on mobile, Android or iOS, Windows, Mac, or the web. It's all available to you as a business. So the Microsoft Teams platform brings that all together. I think the key thing for me is, once you've got that, how does that actually equate further? And I talked about it being people and all the people. So we're talking about inclusivity. We're including everybody in it. We're giving them the ability to use accessibility, innovation tools. We're enabling them to use those tools within the platform. So inclusivity plus enablement. And then the last part really for us, and it's something that you should talk about, is empowerment. So how do you empower your teams and enable them to use this technology to achieve success? If you take inclusivity, so you include everybody in the conversation, and when we talk about including everybody, we are talking about cognitive diversity as well. So mixing people together with different thinking styles, habits and perspectives, different situational environments, diversity of age, gender, race, ethnicity, geographic, national culture, whatever those pieces may be, it's bringing them all in together, enabling them with a tool set to communicate and collaborate and build on, and empowering them to achieve that. And if you do that, you get productivity and business success. It's proven. It's a study that is completed. Gartner themselves, in a September 2019 paper, actually said that including people, diversity, inclusion, enabling and empowering them with a platform builds high performance teams. Between organizations, this platform and these capabilities brings at least a 12% performance improvement for teams to operate. Through, and just use some of the stats that Gartner brought out in that paper, through 2022, 75% of organizations with frontline decision-making teams reflecting a diverse and inclusive culture will exceed their financial targets. The difference in employee performance between non-diverse and diverse organizations is 12%. So including people, enabling them and bringing that together, empowering them to work together, is 12%. And lastly here, CIOs need to also look for cognitive diversity, which is mixing people together with different thinking styles, habits and perspective. If everyone on a team has the same style, performance is hindered. There's a hashtag that was, I'm not sure who coined it originally, but it's one and part of a group that I'm part of and I'm passionate about. And it's called Neurodiversity Superpower. The diversity of how everybody thinks and bringing those together is truly our biggest superpower as an organization, as a business. Enabling and bringing those people together is key. And bringing that together in a way that is human, is diverse, is inclusive, not just inviting somebody to a party, but inviting them to dance at that party. It's taking that step drives business productivity and success, and is the framework and the platform to enable your business strategy to succeed. I'm going to end there and see if there are any questions that anybody may have in this area before I want to just show a video after any questions. So anybody has any questions, please ask them now.
Thank you, James. Very interesting. I have a question here. I know Microsoft Teams, with all its ability to overlap all these disabilities with different clients joining from wherever. So the technical part seems to be like covered by Microsoft Teams, but how to bring people together and like actually starting up the conversations?
Yeah, so That's a good question. So the technology platform that Microsoft provides, yes, immersive reader, accessibility tools are all part of that, and that is part of what I would say. You start with why, what that piece is, and the last piece is how and when you're going to achieve that, and that's the final piece. The question of why and how to engage people in that conversation up front is getting into and understanding the business. It's about breaking down the barrier and the wall from technology and IT to the business. Some of the first ports of call, for example, that we go through is to the people leaders within the business. It's identifying champions within regions and within businesses and enabling them and including them in the conversation. You tend to find that if you engage with the business in an inclusive and open way to have the conversation about strategy up front, people are forthcoming and willing to share that. In some large organizations, the information that we get out of that conversation actually changes the whole technology roadmap. The CIOs and the technology and the board who then understand and see the output from that actually then rip the pieces up and saying, actually, we've got this wrong. We've got it in the wrong order, the wrong priority. It starts with people at the first and people at the center, but it's about engaging with people, not the friends of technology, but engaging with the business outside of that. Hopefully that answers the question. If you've got any more questions in that kind of area or you want to go further, please feel free to join the breakout room as well. More than happy to talk more. I don't know if there's any more questions.
No, not at the moment.
Okay. The breakout room, I will share the link shortly. I will be there. Happy to have any conversations that answer any questions that may come. But I want to share a video with you that is from our friends at Accenture. And for us, we believe that they really have hit the nail on the head with regards to a very important conversation. The Microsoft Teams platform really is a business strategy enabler, the most powerful of which to me, I believe, is about people and inclusivity. It's about bringing the team and that neurodiversity superpower together to achieve your business goals. I'm going to play the video, but I'd ask you, at the end, please feel free to team up with us at FITS and the community to join this conversation. So that's the video for us. It is an important area that we should all talk about and we should all engage with, and it fits. We are very, very passionate about diversity and inclusion and how we can enable everybody in the business to achieve more and be more, which is in line with the Microsoft vision and mission.
Unfortunately, the video wasn't played with sound, but we did get the message clear enough. There's one asking, is there a link to this video that can be found on?
Absolutely. So it can be found on YouTube. So it's Accenture's inclusion starts with I. I would encourage anybody in this meeting to join a group, and it's a Microsoft Tech community called Humans of IT. It's got about 10,500 members, I think, globally. We at Fits are part of that group and find it important, but I'd encourage you to join that group and join that conversation, because that group can help steer and drive the inclusion of everybody and how we can be better every day. There is a breakout room. I will join the breakout room. Feel free to ask any questions there. I will make sure that we post a link to the video as well for everybody to see.
Yeah, I have the link here ready to be posted. There is also, I think you answered one of the questions about what to do tomorrow. What was the first thing you do tomorrow? And that was join the conversation.
Yeah, so the first thing that I would do is join the conversation. And for me, it's embrace the conversation. The conversation about diversity and inclusion is key, even more so if we talk about the current geopolitical events and movements in that area. Being diverse is not good enough. You need to include that as well. It's not good enough just to be invited to the party. Invite them to dance to. And I invite people to join that conversation and to put people and all people at the core of what you do as a technology strategy, because that will innovate and deliver real change to real people.
And there's also a question saying that it's hard to get the management, the people with 50 plus, with a top-down style, to understand what they need to change. Do you have any top tips on how to sell it?
Yeah, the top tips are facts. There are hard facts out there. And Gartner is one of them. Microsoft, actually, their accessibility site and portal, and the Humans of IT group, there are reports, facts, numbers across enterprises and businesses that are proven. The most poignant way of doing it is actually taking the story of the people of an organization to the management. And that's one of the most hard-hitting pieces that we've done with global organizations that Fits. We, engaging with the people and telling their story. Hamilton's just been released on Disney Plus, if anybody wants to watch it. So it sounds like a bit of a plug for Disney Plus. But one of the main songs from there is "Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story?" And it's important for people's story and people's inclusion in that story to be told. A business is made up of its people, which includes all of their stories, and understanding it and the context of it. And feeding that information up to management is difficult. But a third party coming in to actually support that, have the conversations and present that story up with facts and numbers from a business, we've not seen it not hit home. We've not seen management turn away from that. And that's the way to do it.
Brilliant. That's all the time we have for this session. Thank you very much, James. Very interesting topic. If you would like to talk with James following the session, you can find him at the session breakout area. Please check the Q&A for the link to join that meeting. And thank you for watching.